Good day, guys. This is Prayer. I've been thinking for the past few weeks, I should say. I've been thinking about the unemployment rate that all the youth, we're crying about, and I've been interacting with a lot of people that are doing business in general. Hopefully I'll be starting a podcast. Anyway, it's me announcing that I'll be starting a podcast very soon. It will be a video podcast talking with the youth and people that are doing things that are not really common. The youth that is making a difference in our communities. But I'm not only gonna focus only on the youth, but I'm gonna just be talking to a lot of people, and I think I'll be having that podcast from next week, if I'm not mistaken. So, but what I want to talk about today is we've been crying a lot or complaining a lot about the unemployment rate in South Africa, which is extremely high. But my worry is there's a lot of people that are doing business. There's a lot of young people that are starting businesses, and they've proven to be working. They didn't just go straight to the government to apply for funding, or they started working on their own. When they started being profitable, their turnover was being profitable. Then they went to look for funding from the government. But with my interaction with those people, I started picking up that it has raised a lot of questions for me, purely because I'm a bit confused if, I don't know how to phrase this correctly, but I'm a bit confused if the government funding, like your NYDA, are they funding the youth for the purpose of funding the youth to do better in the community, or they are funding the youth in relation to benefiting their comrade? I've had interaction with people that are running small business where they were like, okay, I've been running this thing, it's been successful, I've been having profits. I started hiring one or two people as part-time because I couldn't manage on my own because the business is growing. However, I applied for funding. The first funding that I got was 50,000 Rand. Within that 50,000 Rand, as I progressed, I started to show more potential. With that 50,000 Rand, it basically just added more into my capital. I started doing more. I started ordering more stock. If you're selling, they have started expanding. If they're into the laundry business, they bought more machines. Others have gotten Ijojo to just allow them to function even when there is no water. However, the government will give them funding the first time, because I think you're eligible to up to three or two funding. I think the next one is 250,000. The first one is 50,000. The second one is 250,000. So therefore, the person has done all that. They've proven that their business is functioning and it's growing. It has a good turnover. It's netting profit. They've already surpassed the break-even stage. Now they are profitable. They get that funding from NYDA as an example. I'll use NYDA as an example. They get that funding from NYDA, the first one. And then now the NYDA says, okay, we have funded you, we have trained you. We will ask someone to create a website for you. Is that funny thing? It's if they get a person to create a website for another person that they have funded, why don't you take another small business, a guy that is doing website building, they are coding? Why don't you take them and put them there? However, we tend to notice that they're taking their comrades, they're taking their comrades to create the website. Find that the comrades are not even, they don't even know how to do it. They're not even in a stage to do website. They don't even know. After doing that website, they host that website. Few days down the line, the website is no longer working because they're just there to give money to their comrades. So what I'm trying to say is, I know that I'm mumbling and ranting, but what I'm trying to say is, it seems like the government is not funding the youth just because they want to fund the youth, but they are funding the youth if their comrade will benefit. If you're a person who's strict, trust me, you're not gonna get funding, because no one will eat amongst the guys that are there to eat when the funding is out. So I'll be speaking to, anyway, I'm trying to say I'll be speaking to someone. I think what I want us to have a conversation trying to understand their story on how messed up the government funding is, how messed up the government. It's saying the unemployment rate is high, but if there's someone trying to do something at the lower level, they're not as supportive enough unless it benefits their comrade, for which I feel like it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be people first before comrades. But in South Africa, for you to do something, for you to succeed, you need to join a political party and become a comrade, for which is very messed up for me. Extremely messed up. But anyway, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about. I think this will be just me introducing the podcast I'll be having with a lot of people, and just look out for that. I have a lot of people on the list that I'll be, when I get time, we will be speaking about their life story and what businesses they are running and their experiences in this case with the government funding entities. And there's also young people that are into farming, and a lot of young people that are into farming, and the government it's not assisting them to getting into supplying into the supermarkets. The only market those people have, as much as they could be farming in a slightly larger scale, but those people can't be getting into the right places to sell because the government doesn't care. It's not even, even the local government is not even assisting into allowing those young farmers to get into the retail space. The only market they have is the street vendors, for which it's limited. It's extremely limited. I'm from Bushbuck Ridge. Everyone is just farming, and all of us, our target market is those bomama, those that are selling on the streets. When even when you try to go into the retail space, it's extremely difficult unless you know someone who knows someone. For which, for me, my question will be, how can we find a way of allowing everyone to fairly compete? I don't know if I'm making sense. To just fairly compete into that space, because right now there's no fair competition. But anyway, guys, I was just ranting about things that I've experienced lately and people that I interacted with, and I think it's best for me just to sit with those people and have a podcast and see, so that we can hear their story and their frustration with the government funding entities and the comrades in general, for which the comrades and political parties are the biggest. I personally feel like they're the biggest distraction into us youth progressing in South Africa. But anyway, look out for that podcast, guys. Have a great day. Peace.